Are you ready to learn English with comprehensible input? Well, today we are going to be learning English here in San Diego, California, in Balboa Park. Balboa Park is one of the biggest parks in the entire country and is the most famous park in the city of San Diego. There are a ton of things to see in this huge park. Now, as you walk around Balboa Park, the first thing you'll notice is the architecture around you. Balboa Park has some very impressive buildings, and all of the buildings in Balboa Park look like they are very, very old. Now, they are not actually as old as they look. Most of these buildings in Balboa Park were built in the early 1900s, but they've been made in a way to make them look like old Spanish buildings. All of the architecture that you can see here, for example, the architecture of this museum behind me, was designed in a way to look like old Spanish buildings. The reason why they chose to make them look like old Spanish buildings is because the city of San Diego used to be owned by Spain. This was one of the first areas of California that was colonized by Spain. So they wanted to make the buildings look like Spanish buildings to remember the history of San Diego. All right, to give you an idea of the Spanish inspiration of this park, behind me you can see a statue that has been made of a person named El Cid. El Cid is a very famous character in the history of Spain. And during a time when Spain was ruled by Muslim empires, El Cid was one of the people who was very famous for reconquering Spain from these Muslim empires. This period of history is known as the Reconquista, and El Cid is still remembered as a hero by many people in Spain. One of the really cool things to see at Balboa Park is these hallways over here. These hallways are pretty much throughout all of Balboa Park, where there is these shaded areas that you can walk down, and they go down very, very far. You can see over there. And it's nice to just take a walk down these hallways in Balboa Park. You can also see they have some chandeliers hanging from the ceilings, but these do light up, but Balboa Park is not usually super busy at night. So if you want to come at night and see the lights lit up, that would be cool, but you probably are not going to see a lot of people, or there are not going to be a lot of things to do here at night. All right, if you'll follow me over here, we will enter one of the gardens in Balboa Park. As you're walking around Balboa Park, you can see different gardens here, and this one is pretty nice. You will see that there are a lot of different hedges over here. These are what we call hedges in English. And also, there are some flowers that are being surrounded by the hedges. Although, I think over here, you'll see some prettier flowers because those other ones didn't look very nice, but you have some flowers with different colors like white and red, and they're being surrounded by these hedges. There's also some kind of fountain over here in the center of the garden. But right now, there's no water coming out of this fountain. Now, my favorite thing about this garden is that from this garden, you get a really nice view of this building right here, which to me is one of the most impressive buildings here in Balboa Park. I like that sort of watchtower part of the building because it goes super, super high. All right, in Balboa Park, one of the very famous things to do is to go and see the different museums. There's a lot of museums in Balboa Park that all feature different things. Many of them feature very, very famous paintings. So you can see this is one of the museums right here. Unfortunately, we will not be able to show many of these museums because I believe most of them do not allow filming inside. At least we can see this guy right here outside of the museum. And maybe this gives us an idea of some of the things you can see in the museum as well. But for now, we just got to stay outside with our new friend right here. All right, this area behind me is what they call the Organ Pavilion. And this pavilion is basically an area for people to sit down and listen to some music. And they host different types of events here. You can see that there are tons of benches for people to sit down on, although nobody or only a few people are sitting on them right now, but sometimes this will fill up more when there's a bigger event. But you can also see that in the center of the stage over there's a stage up front. There are two people who are playing on the organ. I believe that is called an organ, although I don't know a ton about music. All right, you can see that there's a plane flying right over here. It's about to kind of be hidden by those trees, but as you're walking around Balboa Park and lots of different areas in San Diego, you will see planes flying by, and they are usually very close to the ground. The reason for this is that one of the busiest and most famous airports in California is here in San Diego. A lot of people also come out to Balboa Park to do lots of different activities on the grass and the other common areas where people can spend some time. For example, you can see some people over here that seem to be doing some kind of meditation, and they've all met up here to do this. And you can see there's a sign over here advertising it, and it seems to be written in some type of Chinese language, I believe, and it is just advertising this meditation where these people come out early in the morning to Balboa Park to practice this. Now, one of my favorite places in Balboa Park is this one right here. These are called the International Houses. And basically what they are is a bunch of tiny little houses all across this area right here. And each house represents a different country in the world. So when you enter those houses, there will be somebody from that country who is waiting there for you, and they can tell you a little bit about their country. And you can also look around at some of the famous things from that country. Right, if you're a fan of trying different foods from around the world, this is also the right spot for you to come to. In a lot of these different houses, they will offer you food to eat, to try from their specific country. So for example, behind me, we can see the House of China. And it looks like if you go to the House of China, you can try some dumplings, which are a very famous dish in China. All right, after visiting all of the different houses, you can come to this building right here, which is basically a souvenir shop where you can buy many different items from these different countries. So if you come in here, you can kind of explore and see what kind of things different countries have to offer, and you can purchase a little souvenir to bring home with you as well. These are all statues. These are all different Buddhist statues. So you could say this is a representation of some of the countries in the eastern part of the world. Some very nice wood carvings as well. These have all been carved out of wood, and they're all different animals. And some of these look like they might be African animals. For example, there's the hippo right here, and you have a rhinoceros right here as well. These are very, very cool. Some of these areas have a little card that tells you from which country these products are from. For example, these products right here are from Peru. If you want a patch showing the flag of any of the countries you just visited in those houses, you can purchase them here. Or if you would prefer a sticker, you can purchase them up here. Or you can buy a mini flag as well of many, many different countries. Now here in Balboa Park, there's not just cool buildings to see, there's also a lot of cool nature as well. If you look behind me, you can see a lot of really, really impressive and very tall trees. And there's kind of this whole sort of forest area. And if you go down these stairs over here, you can actually walk through this whole forest area, and there's a path. I don't really know how far it goes, but it would be cool to do this at a future time. Right now, we are not able to do this because we have the baby here, so I would have to carry this stroller all the way down those stairs, which I don't want to do. But if you do want to do that, that is something you can do as well. One thing that I see is really cool over here is if you see some of these trees are very big, and if you look down at the roots of this tree, you can see a ton of this tree's roots, and they are very big, and they stretch all the way down to under these stairs right here. So I think that's pretty cool as well. Now on these big trees, a lot of people like to come to them and they like to carve their names or their initials into these trees. So you can see what sometimes people will do is they will carve a heart on the tree, and inside of the heart they will put two people's initials, and basically what they're saying is that those two people are in love. All right, we decided to end the day by coming to a cafe here in Balboa Park. I decided to order this coffee right here, which is a mocha style coffee. It's pretty good, but one thing that I noticed is that for some reason at the end, there's like a very, very strong bitterness. I think they put some kind of spice in this that makes it very bitter, so I don't really like that very much. But I'm hoping that this will make me a little bit happier. This thing is huge. This is a Nutella croissant right here. You can see it's got bread and some nuts on top and some Nutella as well right here. So I'm excited for this one. Now anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video exploring Balboa Park with me in San Diego, California. For more videos like this one, where we learn English by listening to the language spoken in a slow, simple, and clear way, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.